How do you make now a way of life?
Welcome to the Just Live podcast.
My name is Dan.
I'm Suzie. Together we are Doozy. This is our series, Living Now, Autopilot to Awareness, and this is part 4 of 4 parts.
4 parts, and now we're on 104.
Here's where we've been so far. Wake up your now, calm your inside-outside noise, choose what matters now, and today is now as your way of life. Now is our theme of 2026.
Our theme.
And so it's every year we choose a theme that we feel like God has given us. We chose it back in December, I think, this year. And we weren't exactly sure what it means. We're still living into it. And these 4-part series is actually helping us explore what now means. Essentially, what does it mean?
Actually, it means being present. It means not just living in the future or living in the past. It's where you are, that's where you need to be. Let's look at practice. Practice is something we've been doing over the last 3 weeks. We've been looking at something, try it. Look at it, try it. But how do we move from that into a fully alive presence? That our very being is living in the now.
So one of our themes is of life is living fully alive. It comes from John 10:10 that says what Jesus said, I have come that you may have life and have it to the full. And we want to adapt that principle as well and have this fully alive presence that we show up with who we are and what God has given us and bringing light and life to people. And that takes a practice of living in the now for ourselves and for others we come in contact with.
As teachers, we know that many of the things we say are going to be like, yes, that's great, and then quickly forgotten. Living present, living in the now, there's got to be a way to sustain that. And the sustaining presence requires rhythm.
I love this.
You have to add to it a rhythm. I'm a drummer. I love to get a drum and just sort of make the rhythm. The worst thing in the world is to have someone, especially sometimes the old piano players, is like 1, 2, 3, 4. And it just, you can't drum to that. We need to set in our life regular rhythms to live in the now. Willpower alone doesn't work.
Right. So we return to autopilot if we're not being intentional with the rhythms that we're choosing to make. And one of the things that helps us do that is to build habits and practice them. I love the concept of practice because it is not perfection. I teach a watercolor class every Wednesday. Actually,
it's a good class. It's a very good class.
2 of them. And every week I say, I'd love for you to make an imperfect piece of art. Let's just practice today. And if I forget to say that, then they usually say, Suzie, don't you want us to make an imperfect piece? And I'm like, oh yes, I definitely, because this is a practice, a skill building of habits and presence, and all these now concepts are going to take some repeated, consistent rhythms and work.
Yeah, and just in your mind, make sure you understand that presence is not a technique. This is not a new technique. It's a way of being formed over time. Eventually, you will just live in the now, but it's little by little that we move in the space that we need to go to. Jim Elliot said this, and I love this quote: wherever you are, be
there.
all there. Be all there. And I think we live in a very fragmented society. And it's like buckshot. Boom, we're all over the place. And what we're talking about here is really being a bullet.
Intentional.
Just intentional. Here I am right now. Be all there.
James chapter 4, verses 13 to 15 say this. Now listen, you who say, today or tomorrow we will go to this or that city, spend a year there carrying on business and make money. Why? You do not even know what will happen tomorrow. What is your life? You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes.
Poof.
Instead, you should say, if it's the Lord's will, we will live this and do this or that. To me, this says we don't know what's going to happen, but we do have the now, and we live our now intentionally looking forward to where we want to be. But if we don't know where we want to be and we don't take the practice steps, the rhythms to live in the now, it will be difficult to keep going and to have some kind of a purpose in life.
And I love the fact that it's the Lord's will, to understand that the Lord is here now. It isn't in the future. He isn't like we're chasing him. He is now.
So now is a way of life. Here's a few talking points. We love, when we're listening to something like this, to pause, have a little chat about it, and then carry on, or finish the whole podcast and then have a chat with somebody about it if you're on your own. I personally love to journal out some of the responses to these questions. So here they are. Here's 3 talking points for you. Number 1, now gives life as you daily create rhythms. So daily rhythms and weekly resets. So these rhythms can happen day by day by day or week by week by week. And that allows now to give life.
Yeah, I think
how does that happen?
We have to have time to reflect on our life. And when you put in a rhythm, you actually slow down enough to say, all right, here's a rhythm. For Suzie and I, one of our rhythms is we take a walk every night.
That's right.
And that helps us
Thanos walk.
to live in the now. What's going on right now? We also have weekly resets. There is a time each week that we sit at the table right over there. We pull out our planners and we go through and we live in the now. And what we do now to make sure we end up where we want to be at the end of the week.
A reset for that week, for sure. Here's another talking point. Now needs community to support life in the present. Who are your people around you that support you to live this intentional life and not just go on autopilot? Every Monday we have in the Fully Alive Revolution something called Amazing Mondays.
Which is a community that we have online.
Yeah, so we meet we've been meeting in January around these topics that we're talking about in this podcast. And we meet, we check in with each other. We're all trying to go towards these rhythms. Every one of us have different rhythms and goals and weekly resets, but we check in, we help each other formulate them, and we just help make sure that we stay on track to these things that we are trying to be intentional with.
One other talking point we have here is now grows. You want to grow your nowness. And we do that by giving grace to ourselves when we forget. Because you will forget. You will forget to do a rhythm. You will forget, I want to do this, and then we don't. The thing is, if you forget once, it's okay. Give yourself grace. Just don't make it a habit to do it twice.
Forget again.
Forget. And so if you want to really live, you give yourself grace and you move past it. Count the times you have done it, not necessarily the times that you forgot.
Okay, I just want to highlight that you can skip one time, but you can't skip twice is kind of a rule that we have together. I'm on an exercise, nutrition, eating plan, and I am on day 17 of a streak. And it was hard for me over the holidays with all that great food and lots of people to actually get in the rhythm that I wanted to get into. And I tried to do that, like, I missed one day, and then once you miss one, it's so easy to miss 2 days when you're trying to be intentional in a rhythm. And now I'm back on my streak where I don't want to miss a day. Like 17 is great in a row, and I don't want to lose that streak. So that helps give me momentum in that area.
Here's a practice. It's called the Daily Now Exam. And this is something you just examine yourself. You don't have to go to a doctor's office, anything like that. Examine yourself. But
self-exam?
You do this at the end of your day. You ask these questions to yourself. Where was I most present today? Mm-hmm. Now, everywhere you were present. But sometimes your brain or your emotions weren't there. So where was I most present today?
The second part of the exam is where did I disconnect? If I want to be present, where did I actually disconnect? What were those things that made me disconnect?
Yeah. And what am I grateful for in this day?
Being
Please
grateful.
Finish your day each day by just writing down or thinking through or talking about what are you grateful for.
So the Daily Now exam, once again, is where was I the most present? Where did I disconnect? And what am I the most grateful for about today?
Now there's 2 questions.
2 questions.
2 questions.
Okay, here they are. For reflection, to consider, what would it look like to live my life at a human pace? A truly human pace. I don't know if you have this issue like we do. We are running hard and fast, like our Enneagram type together is called jet set.
Yep.
So that's kind of how we roll if we do not slow it down to a truly human pace. to a pace that really is sustainable and to be able to walk in that. What would it look like for you to live at a truly human pace? Some of you listening might have a slower than human pace, like turtle pace. Or some of you might have a rabbit pace, like zooming and zigzagging here and there, but a truly human pace that is appropriate for you. What would it look like?
I think for me, the human pace has to do with listening. If I am in a rush, I don't really listen well enough to other people. But when I'm at a human pace, I realize I can pause, I can hear, I can ask some questions even before I need to move on. So that's one thing for me on a human pace.
Another question to consider: how does God meet me in ordinary moments? Sometimes we're trying to be like out of the ordinary, or we try to create or manufacture bigger than ordinary spaces for ourselves also to meet God. How can God meet me? In other words, how can I really be where I am, even in the midst of ordinary moments?
I think sometimes we run faster than God. And I think we need to slow down and meet him in that space.
All right, so here's a challenge as we finish this series on living in the now. So we call it a rule.
This is a rule, not rules. A rule. This is
kind of like
a way of life.
A structure for your life. So write a simple, realistic plan for 5 areas that just think about these. You might have to take some time to develop these. And if you need it, reach out to us. We can coach, mentor you in finding yours for yourself.
Right. What's the first one, Suze?
First one is morning grounding. What does your morning rhythms look like? Maybe you have some regular practices that you have. For me, it's drinking coffee, brushing my teeth, washing my face, taking a shower, one of those things. But I have habits stacked into some of those morning routines that this is what happens in my morning. For me, it includes spending time with God, reading something from the Bible. It is a chunk of time writing and processing in my journal. And I've just recently added in there my productivity planner that I try to categorize A, B, C priorities, the top 3 priorities of the day. That in itself is so grounding for me, gives me a good set foundation to launch my day on. So what does your morning grounding look like?
And she does that in her nice cozy bed, which means I have to be out of the house because I make too much noise.
That's right.
She can't ground there. So for me, I get outside, I walk my dog, I get in nature, I do about 5,000 steps, and it's focusing on the day, focusing on God, like Suzie had said.
All right, another part of your plan could include something in the midday, a midday reset. I'm coaching a few people at the moment of trying to figure out their midday reset. So many of them, they work, they have a lunch break, and they take an extra few minutes on their lunch break to get out in nature, to see the big open sky. Others are trying to do a quick 10-minute walk. Others are trying to drink, an appropriate amount of water. So what is it in the middle of your day that you need to set you up for a good afternoon?
For Suzie and I, most of the time at lunch, when we can eat lunch together, we're able to say, okay, in our day, are we on track or are we not on track?
Just check in. Mm-hmm. All right. Another space that you can make a plan is evening. So science says morning and evening are your 2 most profitable times when you have some sort of a habit, some sort of a rhythm. So the evening could be a reflection of what happened for the day. We try to, as Dan said, go on an evening walk. We walk our dog in the evening, and we take that time while we're doing a loop around to hear from each other. What are we feeling? We affirm each other. We share our needs. We talk about things that we've had a win in for the day. We pray for each other and we celebrate. That's part of our evening reflection. If you want that little plan, just message us and we can reach out and share that.
Fancy.
Fancy is our plan that we're currently using.
Another one is a weekly Sabbath. It's not just a good idea, it's a God idea. Take time each week to just unplug. Shut off your phone, shut off the TV, and just Sabbath.
Realize something different than you usually do.
Yeah, realize the world can go on just fine without you being in the middle of it, without you checking your phone, and it's so good just to unplug.
And the fifth area is a weekly celebration. This is new for us. We realized that we were getting stuff done, but for us, we needed to celebrate. And so we find something to celebrate every week. That usually happens on our date night. Our date nights were Wednesday.
What do you
They
celebrate?
recently have been changing around. We're finding a new time for it because we got a new plan for our Wednesday nights, but we try to celebrate, find something to celebrate, and a very simple way to celebrate.
So I want to end with this. What do you choose to remember? Either from all 4 episodes or just from this one.
Right.
There's been a lot of things that we have said to help you wake up, to help you calm the noise, to help you choose what matters, and now how to make it a way of life. Take some moments and think, what do I want to remember? What do I want to hold on to?
Please, if you don't mind, share those things with us. So reach out to us however we're connected or email us connect@doozy.com. So this has been Living Now, Autopilot to Awareness, this 4-part series. We thank you so much for joining us here for this podcast.
And may you live fully alive as you love your life, your world, and your God. My name's Dan.
I'm Suzie.
Together we are Doozy. Live fully.
And love fully. Thanks so much. See you next time. Bye.
Live now.